something strange just happened at Tesla. And as big if true and likely, it is true. Tesla bought a ton of compute and now has over 100,000 H100s, which Elon will probably talk about on the earnings call. The source is someone from NVIDIA, and Chris has before shared rumors that actually became true. Not always, but often, yes. So I give this rumor pretty high credibility. This is about a $3 to $4 billion spend. It could fit within Tesla's capex spending depending on when we assume H100s were first delivered. And so some Tesla stock investors are certainly celebrating this news. This is part of Elon's balls to the wall plan. This rumor also aligns with the news that are coming out about Tesla's data center in Texas. Now we know that Elon Musk said that Tesla is no longer compute constrained when it comes to FSD, so why do we need more compute? Which is why I said this is a bit strange. But with that much more data coming in, Tesla does need more compute. And with that much compute, indeed, Tesla is not compute constrained. This is quite bullish for FSD specifically. And ARK Invest reinforces their belief that Tesla stock is going to $2,000 per share. They just bought more Tesla stock, $13 million worth of it. And it's not the first time this week, so that is definitely proof that Cathie Wood remains very bullish on Tesla stock. In the meantime, Ron Barron's son, who oversees the $1.4 billion Barron-focused growth fund, said he will be very surprised if Tesla's Model 2 is taken off the table, and said growth will accelerate with the new car. The Model 2 is a crucial piece of our thesis. If they stop that, that is investment changing thesis. Gary Black agrees. Now, it doesn't mean that they would become bears or that they would even sell Tesla stock, because Ron Barron is also invested in SpaceX. So if Elon Musk meets with Ron Barron, there's a good chance he would still remain in Tesla stock and he wouldn't sell anything, and he would support Elon Musk's decision to double down on robotaxis and FSD. Because if you listen to Ron Barron carefully, you will hear that when it comes to Tesla and SpaceX, one big reason why he invested in these companies is because of Elon Musk. So if you invested in the company based on Elon Musk and Elon Musk is still there, that is not an investment changing thesis. From the outside, it does appear that Tesla is going through a very tough time at the moment, but it is abundantly clear that Elon Musk has increased his focus on Tesla significantly if you have been following the news in the last 24 hours. What should we expect from the earnings call next week? Well, Yahoo Finance is now showing 48 cents per share for Q1, which also happens to be James' estimate, which he released after the production and delivery report came out. So, yeah, James was pretty spot on, well, at least ahead of Wall Street. But we'll find out next week what the actual numbers are. Now, Tesla was in Europe the biggest market share gainer in the 12 months period to March 2024 compared to the prior 12 months period to March 2023. So that's good to see. So Ford is last and Volkswagen is right before Ford. Multi-billionaire Cogwin Leo, who's an all-in Tesla stock investor in his stock portfolio, just like me, but I'm not a billionaire, of course. He just made multiple statements about Tesla stock, and I think we should pay attention. He does have more Tesla stock than Ron Barron and ARK Invest combined. And single-handedly, if he just sold all of his shares, I think he can definitely make the stock drop at least for one day. Almost certainly, if he sold everything all at once. If the compensation is illegal, it is stolen property. If one bought or received stolen property, he has to return it to its owner, in this case shareholders. The Delaware court decided that the compensation that was given to Elon Musk was a gift to Elon, and then if true, by law, all 100% shareholders must approve it. So the argument that 90% of the shareholders approved it is still not legit. The gift has to be approved by 100% of the shareholders. And then he answered, do you believe that Tesla will be better off without Elon? Genuine question. If Elon spends just 50% of his working hours at Tesla, no one can beat Tesla and Elon Musk. I just want him to spend 50% of his waking hours on Tesla because he is a tyrant CEO. If he doesn't want to or has no time for Tesla, he should graciously fade away and appoint his replacement. So it's pretty clear that Leo is going to vote against reinstating Elon's compensation package. But here's a comment from Tesla's 10th largest shareholder. We believe the 2018 plan demonstrated strong alignment with the interests of long-term investors, and it was followed by an impressive validating period of value creation. So it's pretty clear that shareholder is going to vote for reinstating Elon's compensation package. So there's a huge feud going on right now inside of the Tesla community about this compensation package, but the majority of retail Tesla stock investors are for reinstating the 2018 CEO award. Read from Electric listed a few reasons why some people would not want to vote for this compensation package again. But Jason says literally none of this matters. The terms of the compensation package were clear. That is what matters. If it had seemed unfair, we would have voted against it, and it wasn't. I actually thought, if anything, the package was unfair to Elon in 2018 because he would get nothing if he missed these insanely ambitious milestones. Oh, but he is friends with this person. Oh, he used a personal attorney. Oh, but the deal didn't require him to spend a certain amount of time. None of these are a problem. Elon delivered. Now it's our turn to deliver. I think a lot of Tesla investors are worried that if Elon does not get his compensation package reinstated, it means that going forward, any compensation package that Elon would get likely would have another major lawsuit, and the chances would be fairly decent that it would again be voided. And one major reason why so many Tesla stock investors, retail ones, are against the people that want to void Elon's compensation is because they think Elon may even step down as the CEO or spend a lot less time at Tesla going forward and focus a lot more, for example, on XAI and X instead of Tesla. And Elon already made it clear publicly that he doesn't feel comfortable building new products related to AI within Tesla if he does not have 25% of Tesla. So if you void this compensation package, you are reducing Elon's control of Tesla substantially. And to some degree, Elon already told us what his plans are, so now it's up to us to read in between the lines what all of this means. So keeping all of that in mind, I am hugely in favor of reinstating the 2018 CEO compensation package. Did Elon bend some of the rules when it came to designing the compensation package? I don't think that matters. What matters, I think, is did Tesla's stock value increase since 2018? Oh yes, it did. I became an investor, by the way, in early 2019. Now, the next generation vehicle. I think it's crucial to play this segment from the last earnings call, which was held this year on January 24th. And based on some of the rumors coming out, it appears to me that the direction to change Tesla's priority from the consumer-based next generation vehicle to Robotaxi started to happen sometime in December of last year. So by January, I think Elon already had a pretty clear plan of what he wants to do. Maybe not everything was firmly put in place yet, but I think what he says here holds a lot of weight.
And we're very far along on our next generation low-cost vehicle. This is an earnings call, not a product announcement. So there'll no doubt be many questions that try to ask us about new products coming, but we reserve product announcements for product announcements, not earnings calls. So, but we're very excited about this, and this is really going to be profound, not just in its design of the vehicle itself, but in the design of the manufacturing system. This is a revolutionary manufacturing system, significant, far more advanced than any other automotive manufacturing system in the world, like by a significant margin. Several years ago, I said perhaps the most important competitive characteristic of Tesla in the future will be manufacturing technology, and you will really see that come to bear with our next-gen vehicle. The first manufacturing location for this will be at our Gigafactory and headquarters in Austin, Texas, and then we'll follow that up with other locations around the world. Probably the factory we'll build in Mexico will be second, and then we'll be looking to identify a third location, perhaps by the end of this year or early next, outside of North America.
Now, also, we should keep in mind that the next generation vehicle and Robotaxi, that could be one and the same thing, basically, because the next generation vehicles, including the consumer-based $25,000 vehicle, will be built on the same platform when eventually they all get built. And we do know that Elon is pretty good with using certain language to steer people in the direction that he wants them to look. So maybe he was already referring to the Robotaxi only pretty much, but based on how he was talking, I would think he was talking about the consumer-based $25,000 vehicle. There's some debate about where exactly would that factory outside of North America be. Some think it's in China, but Omar says probably India. And we know that Elon Musk is going to be visiting India very soon. And it's expected that Elon Musk will make some sort of announcement about Tesla investing in India, a few $billion specifically, which will be used to build some sort of facility, maybe a factory. It could also be a Megapack factory though. This is good news for Tesla. We know that there was a holdup with the refresh Model 3s in Fremont, but now the white interior Model 3s are being delivered, hinting at the fact that maybe ramp going forward will continue without issues. Maybe. Anyway, article in The Electric today frames the Tesla Robotaxi and the $25,000 compact investment controversy well. It basically shows that most Wall Street, including Gary Black, are arguing that the two projects, well, the Robotaxi and the $25,000 compact, are moving forward in tandem. That's always been the plan. I personally do prefer that. If that is not the case, I would expect quite a few Wall Street analysts to substantially drop their earnings predictions for the 2026 and 2027 years. So we would have multiple price target cuts probably, which could drive the stock lower. But if suddenly FSD keeps making all of this amazing progress, some analysts will start taking that into consideration very seriously as well. And we have already seen that with Tom Narayan from RBC and Morgan Stanley, as well as Canaccord. Here's what Elon needs to deliver in black and white on the call next week. Do's: outline plan to stabilize gross margin. Outline the plan to grow demand and vehicle volume in 2025 and 2026. 2024, already a write-off in James' opinion. Outline long-term product roadmap with a fair amount of detail on the $25,000 mass market EV. Where are they going to build it and when? When is the reveal? I don't think Elon needs to be that specific because that could create an Osborne effect, and we don't want lower sales of the Model 3 and Model Y just because people are waiting for this other vehicle. All I would want to hear is, yes, we are working on it, and that would be fine in my opinion. Outline the progress on FSD, provide some data. I'm going to skip this part. Clearly, James is quite frustrated. Give a realistic timeline and roadmap for future milestones on the path to autonomy. Give investors a roadmap, outline possible risks and mitigation plans. I think Elon's comment about that is going to be, well, we're going balls to the wall. Explain the vision for Robotaxi and how they view the business model. Explain the vision for energy. Why has laser ramp been so slow? What are the barriers and opportunities? Explain the vision for solar. Is solar roof dead? What is the plan? Explain the progress on 4680. What are the key challenges that remain and when does Tesla expect to solve them? How will 4680 improve the vehicle business cost structure? What is happening with a semi? Why has the Nevada expansion started construction? What is the plan for Berlin? When will Tesla expand in Europe and what does that look like? And why the delay on Mexico? I think the list of don'ts largely makes sense, but I expect Elon to Elon. Don't talk about interest rates. Don't talk about the economy being weak because it hasn't been and isn't. Unemployment is pretty low and GDP is growing, and the US total vehicle sales year over year are up. So while higher interest rates certainly make it harder to buy new vehicles, people are still buying and they are buying more than before. Don't blame things outside of Tesla's control for Tesla's performance over the past 5 quarters. Don't tell us that Cybertruck's design was a mistake, and don't tell us that you need a crystal ball. But if Elon needs one, I can lend mine to Elon. I think the next earnings call is going to be pretty important, but I do expect Elon to Elon. And part of that in the long term is Elon creating a lot of value for Tesla stock investors while taking us through a massive roller coaster in the meantime before we get there. Anyway, Tesla leaks new Model 3 performance ludicrous details. I was hoping to see 0 to 60 speed here, but no, we don't see it. We do know that the horsepower is going to be over 500 though. The vehicle is expected to be unveiled on April 20th or April 23rd. I've seen many Tesla stock investors recommend reading this thread. James says highly technical but interesting thread. Hey, it's Matt from the future. Matt, who has already gone through that thread. It was a really good one. I think all Tesla stock investors really need to go through that whole thread. So pay close attention over the next few minutes. It's very good. What is the limiting factor to Tesla solving FSD and deploying to cars? It's probably inference. What is the human driver accident rate? This depends, but Waymo has used 160,000 miles per accident before. Some other sources claim even higher thresholds. How about Tesla's FSD? We don't know accident rates, but we have insight into critical disengagements. According to TeslaFSDTracker.com, the best version of FSD V12 can go 300 miles before a critical disengagement. A disengagement like that, of course, happens when an accident needs to be avoided, but also more minor hiccups like hitting a puddle or a curb could be counted as a critical disengagement, which probably don't get counted as accidents in Waymo's figure. Still, let's assume only 20% of critical disengagements are to avoid what counts as an accident. That means the target critical disengagement rate is not 160,000 miles per disengagement, but 32,000 miles per disengagement. In other words, FSD needs to improve 100 times to match performance of a human. This data, by the way, is based on 172 testers in 48 different states and provinces across the US and Canada, and they have 130,000 miles of data. But I think that's when you include every single version. You can see stats for the latest version here specifically. I think if you drive downtown in a huge city during the rush hour traffic, and if you add a sporting event on top of that, which is what I did a few days ago, yeah, I don't think you're gonna get a critical disengagement every 300 miles. It's gonna happen more often. But if you drive in relatively simple conditions, I can see how that is possible, but it just hasn't been my personal experience. The latest version, though, suggests that we have a critical disengagement once every 110 miles. And if you include highway, yeah, I can sort of see how that can happen if you don't drive through downtown a lot. Anyway, coming back to this account, so what does it take to train a deep neural network to improve 100x in less than a few years? We can examine neural scaling laws to better understand how compute data and model size relate to increased accuracy. Take this paper from Google AI on scaling vision transformers to improve predictive accuracy on the ImageNet benchmark. The plots on the left show error rate log scale versus amount of compute used. First, notice the overall trend. To get an order of magnitude improvement in error rate, you need at least an order of magnitude increase in compute, among other things. And as you reduce error rate by the first 10x, compute requirements to get the next 10x increase further. So aside from other requirements, in order to reduce error rate by 100x, you will likely need compute to increase at least 100x. Is this a limiting factor? I don't think so. If Tesla plans on increasing compute capacity 10x, as they have planned to do, then that combined with running the training job for 10 times as long should get you there. Sure, it may take 10 weeks to run the training job, but it is still feasible. What about amount of individual models represented by specific marker size? So smaller equals less data used, and color blue equals smaller number of parameters. We see specific models follow a power law relationship with compute. Smaller models taper out at higher error rates. So of course, the higher number of parameters, the lower the error rate. Smaller data sets also end up higher, but some small data sets still perform relatively well as long as model capacity is large. And if you look at the ablation study plot on the bottom right, we see generally an order of magnitude increase in data, which shows an order of magnitude decrease in error rate. So will Tesla need 1 or 2 orders of magnitude increases in data? I don't think it will need 100x. It will be less. Why? These studies focus on increasing data in aggregate not focus on the long tail poor performers. By virtue of using the FSD software as a curation filter, Tesla can increase data that is highly focused, and I hypothesize can increase error, reducing potency of that data per epoch of training versus feeding in all data. Even without curation, an increase in 10x of data is feasible over the next few years given increased take rate, higher usage among the customer base, and time. For example, a few friends that I have who have Teslas, they still don't want to use FSD. One of them was in a car with me. I put FSD on. FSD did something silly during a 15-minute drive. It was V12.3.3 though, not the newest version. And it did something silly, and that person said, until it's significantly better, I don't want to try it. And even with the existing FSD beta testers, the number of miles driven on FSD is going up exponentially and really vertically right now. And as FSD gets better, even more people will try it and use it daily. Lastly, the biggest factor in my opinion, model size. Model size is the biggest factor in lowering error rate in these studies, and most. You can compute for longer and with more data, but you will still be capped on performance improvement unless you increase model size. In these plots, the dark red dots, largest models, very clearly show a higher capacity to reduce error than the smaller models. Take a look at this figure. Because of the sublinear nature of the curve, a 100x increase in model size reduces error rate but less than 100x. This is even when given sufficient compute and data. This means with respect to training, if you want to reduce FSD V12 error rate by 100x, it seems quite likely the model will have to grow 100x in size. Is this feasible for training? I think it actually is in theory. I personally think it's definitely possible, no question about it, especially with Elon going balls to the wall. But what about inference compute? This is the biggie. How much can we compress a model to use on Tesla's hardware 3 or hardware 4 inference chips? This requires model distillation, which has shown the ability to significantly reduce model size, usually at some cost to accuracy. There are impressive results. For instance, some documented over here. You can get a 90% reduction in model size, but usually image net accuracy drops, say 10% from 90% to 80% or 80% to 70%. I think James Dama may actually disagree with this, or he may say that there is some sort of other workaround. Obviously, keeping that 100x accuracy improvement is essentially a requirement for FSD, so right now I'm not seeing the ability to reduce model size by 90%. My feeling so far from what I have read through is maybe you can reduce model size by 67%. So where does that leave us? With present-day technology, I am seeing a need to increase model size by 100x at least, then multiply by 1/3 compression, and you get a 30 times increase in model size. This means demands on the inference compute will go up 30x from present day. What is present day? Is V12 using up most of the compute capacity in hardware 4? I'm not sure, but I doubt it's only using 1/30th of it. Is present day model really at 300 miles per disengagement? I think the number is quite a bit lower. Or has Tesla not yet found the optimum for this current model capacity / data size? I think that's certainly very likely, because we know it works quite a bit better in San Francisco than in other areas. I'm inclined to believe they have not yet optimized the current model, so maybe the error rate can go up 3 times to say 1,000 miles per disengagement. We would still need a 10x increase in compute. What if new models are invented that learn more compressed representations with better error rates, better model distillation, compression techniques? Definitely possible at some point, but hard to predict when that will happen. Okay, for a moment, let's assume that Tesla will need to put computers into Tesla vehicles, which will have to be 10 times better than hardware 3, let's say, which is already quite old. Can Tesla do that within the next few years? I think so. Eventually, definitely yes. But Elon Musk strongly believes that current hardware that's already on the roads is good enough already. And seems like James Dama is of the same opinion as well. What is, however, spectacularly clear from this is that the more data you have, the better your model is going to be. And the more compute you have, the better the outcome is going to be. That's abundantly clear. And no one has nowhere near as much data as Tesla does. And with all of the new compute coming online, Tesla is going to keep making progress. There's an interesting change in China. China's Model 3 delivery estimated period has increased by a week. They are currently 3 to 6 weeks. Previously, it was at 2 to 6 weeks. It could be because Tesla cut production a little bit, or it could also be the demand is good. Yesterday, Omar completed 5 trips in his Tesla on FSD. All 5 are completely driven by Tesla software with zero human interventions all day. Only driving Omar did was finding parking spots. This was a 9-minute drive, then a 20-minute drive, then a 17, almost 18-minute drive, another 18-minute drive, and a 37-minute drive. This one seems to have more traffic. So that's definitely great to see. Not everyone, of course, is having great experiences with FSD all the time, but the progress is undeniable. YouTube is continuing the partial shadow ban on my main channel. It is only displaying the videos to about 50% of my regular viewers. You can see that typically my videos would get about 24,000 views, but it only got 12,000. And you can see that the impression click-through rate and the average view duration, these two statistics are incredibly good, making it clear that the video is actually really good and people want to watch it. And so I uploaded that same video with just a new segment in the beginning of the video, which was 2 minutes. It's a unique clip. But this video on the channel with 2,000 subscribers got 15,000 views. While the video, the same video basically, except for the first 2 minutes, that video only got 12,000 views on the channel with 40,000 subscribers. So to fight against this, please click the like button right now. That will really help. And if you're watching this on the other Clips channel and you are not subscribed, subscribe there right now. This video today, I'm thinking about posting it only on the Clips channel, and because I posted it on that small channel and got more views, so it would make sense to probably start posting only on that channel going forward, and just, I don't know what I'm going to do with the old channel. I might just abandon it. I don't know. So subscribe right now, because otherwise the videos may not be shown to you. Thank you so much for watching. Click the like button. My name is Matt Posius, and I will see you in the next episode tomorrow.